Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is Iron Torch 20, and the moment that some of us Samurai Jack fans have been waiting 14 years for has arrived. And this is the series finale of Samurai Jack. And of course, I'm going to be going into spoiler territory here, so just a little recap and how awesome this season was. But anyway, what it starts off with was Flora riding to where the Scotsman's clan was. And then you see this TV screen with Aku's castle. And then you even had the people in the rave, and then the Triceratops, the woolies, and even the apes that jump good even had access to the TV for some reason. And then the archers and the dogs, they were watching too. I do like that Rothy from the movie is actually now a grandpa, so that's funny to see. And then, of course, you had the robots from that, or one of the later episodes. But anyway, I do like that they played the original intro on TV. And then, that was actually a really nice touch by the writers, especially the animators too. And then, like everything else that repeats as or after the part where Aku narrates it, and then he says he tries to undo the future of Aku, and then you just hear him go, "Not, because I have captured him and his sword." But then, I also do like that he was trying to just figure out the best way to kill Jack. And then I also do like when he said that sometimes the simplest way is the best. When he was actually deciding that Ashi should be the one to kill Jack. But then right before that happens, Jack is trying to get into, or trying to reach Ashi through Aku's magic, and then unfortunately he was unsuccessful. But fortunately for Jack, plenty of people he helped over the years came to his rescue. So you had a siege on Aku's castle, so you had the Ravers riding those owls from earlier. And then you also had the dogs with their machines, and then the Triceratops even came back, and they really did ramp up their artillery with the tridents that shoot lightning. I kind of like that. And then, of course, you had the archers and the woolies. And then after that, even the Spartans showed up as backup. So then, after that, Jack has to run towards his sword, and then Ashi ends up defending it. And then Aku says insects then get squashed, and then he ends up killing some of the woolies and some of the archers, and then ends up turning them into Aku clones. And then at this point, Aku is winning, as he takes out a whole bunch of the forces. But then the Scots daughters end up showing up, and then the Scotsman even leads them with his or just playing some kind of magic bagpipe or something, and then that ends up dispersing most of Aku's forces. And then I also do like that in the middle of all this, he shows up and then is just talking to Jack like all this casual conversation, and then he also introduces him to his many, many daughters, and then also offers that Jack and says, "Take your pick." So then Jack ends up saying, "Well, I met someone." And then they end up seeing Ashi possessed. I also do like that was pretty funny, and really the dynamic between Jack and the Scotsman is one of the things that made this series so great. But either way, if you ask me, my personal favorite was Scotsman Saves Jack, just because that's really more about the Scotsman starring on his own. But I'm kind of getting off on a tangent here. So, even the robots from before end up taking on Robo Samurai, and then they end up beating the crap out of Aku. But then it turns out that they can't really hurt him. So then he ends up darkening the sky and then just raining death all over everybody. But then fortunately the Scotsman had his magic that could at least disperse all this stuff and act as a shield. And then after that, Ashi ends up taking this black mist and engulfing Jack with it. And then Jack just tries to go through all this dark stuff and then try and find Ashi. And that actually kind of reminded me of the series finale of Inuyasha when he tried to do the same, or when he had to do the same thing with Kagome when she gets trapped in the jewel. But I'm kind of getting off on a tangent there, so anyway, at the end, he's trying to get Ashi to fight it and then defeat it. And then at the end he says that the 3 magic words a man has to say to a woman, which is, "I love you." And then after that, at first you would think Ashi was winning, but then she ends up coming back, and then Aku then asks, is he dead? And then Ashi says no, and he never will be. So then Ashi and Aku end up fighting, and then let's see, Jack ends up saying, like, you have all of Aku's powers. And then that was actually a pretty important moment as she ends up snatching Jack's sword and then creating that time portal to the past. I also do like that moment that they had just when they were holding hands on the ride back. And then they also had that little nod to the first episode, just right after Aku sends Jack into the future. And then I also do like immediately afterwards, you see the time portal regenerate, and then Aku's like, you're back already! But either way, he ends up, or they end up fighting, and Jack ends up winning. Jack ends up getting the job done, and Aku was defeated, and everything was all good. And then I do like the little nod to the first movie, too, with the whole world in celebration. You had the Arab Sultan, who taught him how to horseback ride, and then you had the African chief, which is still one of the better episodes from Jack's past. And then even the guy, or even the Roman guy that taught him wrestling, and then, or even Robin Hood and the Vikings were there too, even though they kind of had minor parts, but, well, then the Shaolin monks were there too. So that was something I definitely did enjoy seeing. I mean, personally, I was kind of hoping they had more of a dynamic between Jack and his parents, because you never really got to hear much of the dynamic between them. I mean, you did get to hear about, like, who they were and just, like, everything around them, and then, of course, you have the dynamic between the Emperor and the Empress and the Birth of Evil, but was kind of hoping they would do that, but at the end of the day, I'm not really going to complain. So then, afterwards, Jack and Ashi are supposed to be having a wedding, but then right before the ceremony, Ashi ends up fainting, and unfortunately, time loop logic was not her friend, as she said, without Aku, I won't exist, and then she ended up fading out of existence, which, unfortunately, anybody who's ever played Chrono Trigger or watched that first movie of Futurama, you'd kind of understand what that is. So either way, you kind of had this little grieving scene of Jack going to this foggy, I guess, forest or something, but not really. And then I do like the part when a ladybug ends up landing on Jack's finger, and then he just treats it with compassion and then lets it fly away. And that was a really nice bookend to the way just everything went. I mean, the ladybug was actually really important to this entire series when you think about it. So then, he ends up, the series then goes out on this shot of Jack's kingdom, and then he's poised to take over once the Emperor passes on. And then that is the finale for Samurai Jack. Either way, I think you guys already know where this is going with my personal thoughts on it. I mean, the finale itself was just terrific, and I do just love the way everything was done. Even though some parts of it, like Jack getting back to the past, was kind of rushed, but then again, I'm not really going to complain. I do like all the, but then again, since it was only a half-hour episode, they kind of had to do it that way. So, I mean, I could understand why. And then, I don't know, I guess there are just a lot of thoughts here, and yeah, it's been kind of a long day for me. But, I also do like how, this finale just kind of wrapped everything up, and also how, it's kind of this whole thing about people you help in the past who can come to your help in the future, and that's just one reason I try not to be a jerk to other people. So then, I don't know, I don't really have much else to say because, this finale was awesome. This whole series was awesome, and definitely one that, even if you haven't watched it already, you definitely should watch it again. So, all I really gotta say is, thank you to Jendy Tartakovsky and, see, I guess Cartoon Network for finishing this thing. So either way, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I got. But just a few quick announcements. I am going to be getting back into Let's Playing soon. And also, hopefully going to be trying out streaming soon. And since I'm on such a Samurai Jack craze, I almost said Jamurai Sack. That would have been funny. Anyway, since I'm on such a Samurai Jack hype now, I am actually going to be I'm actually going to try streaming Samurai Jack: The Amulet of Time, the GBA game I talked about earlier. So look forward to that. But either way, I don't know how many other immediate reactions I'm going to be doing. Just because, I mean, I might do one for Rick and Morty, but I mean, probably not. But either way, this was a fun little experiment, and I mean, I hope you guys enjoyed it. So with that said, I will see you guys next time, whenever that is.